What happened?
What happened?
I was on Oprah's show, on the Oprah Winfrey show, doing Change Your Life TV. And then people saw me, and other networks came after me. So when I went to her and said, this is what I'd like to do, I said, because other people were coming to me and asking me this, I hadn't even thought about it. What Oprah was offering me at the time, I didn't think I was worthy of. So I had to blow it up, and I did.
What I accept is that you knew what you were doing when you walked into that room, and that you had the intention to force our hand.
Absolutely not.
That is not true.
Absolutely not.
That is not true?
No, absolutely not.
A certain amount of business savvy and a certain amount of business edge that takes place behind the scenes that we probably don't even know in terms of how Oprah has gotten to where she's going and the people that she may surround herself with.
Did you think Oprah was untouchable? Think again. Iyanla Vanzant just spilled some serious tea that might have Oprah's empire shaking in its Louboutins. And let me tell you, this isn't just your average celebrity spat. We're talking about potentially career-ending revelations.
Like you trying to protect your deal over here and force her into a deal. Yes, I said that won't even end my consciousness.
How could you not know that you're saying those words to me?
Now, let's rewind a bit. Iyanla and Oprah go way back, like 90s talk show royalty back. These two were thick as thieves, with Iyanla making regular appearances on Oprah's show and building her own brand as a life coach. But honey, you know what they say about keeping your friends close and your enemies closer.
After Iyanla saw that, the lawyer had given her walking papers, basically, that you will no longer be on the Oprah show, she tried to make amends. She tried to call, and her calls were not accepted.
Y'all, Iyanla didn't just hint at some shady connections. She threw open the curtain on Oprah's alleged ties to some of the most controversial figures in entertainment. We're talking Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, and now Diddy. It's like a who's who of Hollywood scandals, and Oprah's name keeps popping up.
Names are going to come out. Sean will talk. That's why Jay-Z is running. That's why Jay-Z is nervous.
But hold on to your wigs, because according to internet sources, Iyanla's got receipts. And you know what they say? Pics, or it didn't happen. Well, it looks like Iyanla might just have the goods to back up her claims. Could this be the end of Oprah as we know it? Has the queen of talk shows finally met her match? Now, let's dive into what exactly went down and how Oprah's empire might be crumbling faster than a sandcastle in a hurricane. We all know Oprah Winfrey, right? One of the most successful people on the planet. Her rise from TV host to media queen has been nothing short of legendary. But if you've heard about Oprah, then you've probably heard of Iyanla Vanzant too. Iyanla wasn't just some random guest on Oprah's show. She was right there with Oprah before the whole thing blew up. They were tight back in the day, like peanut butter and jelly tight. You'd think with that kind of history, when things got rough for Iyanla, Oprah would be the first to throw her a lifeline, right?
I just want everybody to receive that for a moment. I just want you to receive
What that really means.
But nope, when things went south for Iyanla, it was radio silence from Oprah's camp. Wild, right? You'd expect some loyalty, but instead it was like crickets. Remember those rumors floating around about Oprah only supporting black women when it's convenient? Well, Iyanla Vanzant's story kind of backs that up. Even though she was a best-selling author and one of Oprah's right-hand women, things went downhill real fast when Oprah apparently started feeling threatened by Iyanla's growing success. And as we've all heard, Oprah really doesn't like being challenged. When Oprah decided to cut ties, the fallout for Iyanla was brutal. Getting dropped from Oprah's show was just the start. It hit her finances hard, messed with her career, and to make things worse, it all happened when she was going through some personal heartbreak. Now, there's no solid proof Oprah was behind Iyanla's downfall, but the timing, way too suspicious. Iyanla's life seemed to crumble right when their friendship soured. So the big question is, can Oprah really act like she's totally innocent in all this, or was she pulling strings behind the scenes? Feels like there's more to the story, doesn't it?
Someone who had a difficult life, you ended up on welfare trying to raise a family, and then all of a sudden all these opportunities just hit you. And any other person probably would have just disrespect.
Let's be real, Oprah's show has definitely been a launching pad for some of the biggest names in entertainment today. Look at Nate Berkus, doctor. Phil, and Dr. Oz. They all hit the jackpot after getting Oprah's stamp of approval. It's no joke that the so-called Oprah effect can turn someone into a household name overnight. One shout out from Oprah and boom, your career is basically set for life. But here's the catch. While some soared to fame, others weren't so lucky. For every Dr. Phil, there's an Iyanla Vanzant whose time in Oprah's spotlight didn't end with a fairy tale. Sure, she came close to hitting it big, but after the fallout, things took a hard left for Iyanla. The same Oprah effect that made stars also seemed to play a role in some pretty steep downfalls, with Iyanla being one of the most well-known examples.
11 years.
Did she tell you that you weren't ready or something, like when you went to her?
They didn't think I was ready, but that was never communicated to me.
Got you.
So I'm saying, well, if they're asking for me, how come I can't do it over here?
Iyanla's life story sounds like something straight out of a drama series. Born Rhonda Harris in the back of a Brooklyn taxicab, no less. Her life took a tragic turn right from the get-go, but against all odds, she chased her dream of making it in showbiz. And while that journey had its fair share of bumps, it eventually led her to some seriously impressive heights. She landed the role of executive producer and host of the hit reality series Iyanla Fix My Life on the OWN network, where she dives deep into people's lives using spiritual principles to help them find inner peace and work through their issues. But just because they shared the spotlight doesn't mean everything was all sunshine and rainbows between her and Oprah.
That you're saying those words to me because I did lecture, workshop, class, public speak, don't know dit nor doodly about television.
One of the biggest dramas in Iyanla Vanzant's life had to be her fallout with Oprah. Back in 2000, Iyanla was on the rise as a motivational speaker, getting a ton of national attention thanks to her regular appearances on Oprah's show. But then things took a sharp turn. In 1999, Iyanla got an enticing offer from a TV executive at another network and decided to take the leap. But before making her move, Iyanla reached out to her contacts in Oprah's camp to gauge interest in giving her a show of her own. When they shot her down, she had no choice but to walk away. After that, all hell broke loose. Oprah felt jilted and Iyanla was left in the dust, leading to an 11-year silence between the two. It's hard not to see Oprah as a bit of a villain here. She had a golden opportunity to lift up someone she had once supported, but instead, she chose to shut the door and turn her back. Iyanla's leap of faith could have been a win-win, but Oprah's refusal to back her ended up costing them both a powerful connection.
In the industry, when you go to somebody and say, you know, this network is offering me this, what are you going to offer me? But that's not what I was doing. I was just being naive and stupid.
After over a decade of silence, Oprah finally reached out to Iyanla, inviting her back on the show to air out their differences. Now, everything that went down was behind closed doors, so wouldn't it have made more sense to sort it out privately? But no, the more famous of the two had her own agenda. Instead of a simple reconciliation, Oprah turned the whole thing into a public spectacle, twisting the conversation until Iyanla was practically forced to confess her mistakes on national TV. Iyanla opened up on the show about the lessons she learned from her experience with another network. "It shook me to my core," she admitted. "I was also hurt and guilty about the way I left here. Hurt that I didn't understand what I had done, and guilty because my story is, I always do the wrong thing." That insecurity really messed with Iyanla's head, leading her to make assumptions that only made things worse. "When you said, 'bless you, go forward,' that's not what I heard," she told Oprah. "What I heard was, you did the wrong thing and you're being punished." It's hard not to feel like Oprah set the stage for Iyanla to stumble, and that's just not cool. But how do we know she might have been forced to push the storyline that painted Winfrey in the best light? Well, she had told the story from a different perspective in a prior interview on the Tell Me More show with host Michelle Martin. Iyanla said, "Well, here's what I think. I think that as an up-and-comer, as a protege, a certain level of loyalty is required of you, expected of you, and I didn't demonstrate that level of loyalty, and I think that would be true for I think had I stayed, it would have been true for Barbara Walters. I mean, look at the big rift that happened when Star left The View. This implies that the reason Winfrey was so willing to cut her loose was because she believed Iyanla owed her loyalty, even at the expense of progressing her own career. Even her fans believe this. One person wrote, Oprah forced Iyanla to apologize to her publicly on her show. She is jealous of black women who are more talented and more respected than her. She expects them to bow down to her and sing her praises. When they go against her, then they suffer.
I was in shock. Do you take responsibility for the situation that you're in right now?
100%.
100%.
100%.
But Iyanla isn't the only one who's felt the sting of Oprah's alleged jealousy. Let's talk about Toni Braxton for a hot minute. Toni was riding high as a superstar songwriter, but then her career hit a major slump out of nowhere. She faced a wave of tough breaks, financial troubles, serious health issues, and suddenly, she was nowhere near her prime. What's got people talking is the buzz around a possible link between Toni's downfall and Oprah Winfrey. While it's a bit murky how exactly they're connected, there's a lot of speculation about whether Oprah had a hand in Toni's struggles. It leaves folks scratching their heads. Did Oprah's influence contribute to Toni's challenges?
She says to me, I hear you have Gucci flatware. I'm Oprah Winfrey and I don't have Gucci flatware.
Toni Braxton opened up about her bankruptcy and how it was viewed by the public and other celebrities during this challenging time. She also made an appearance on the Oprah Winfrey Show, expecting the usual supportive vibe. But Toni was hit with a curveball. Oprah's questions were unexpectedly harsh, leaving her completely stunned. Instead of the understanding she anticipated, Toni found herself facing a tough line of questioning that made her disbelief palpable. It was a moment that really highlighted how tricky the spotlight can be, especially when you're already dealing with so much. Reflecting on what she saw as Oprah's rudeness, Toni didn't hold back her shock, saying, "She was so freaking mean to me. I was in shock." Before the interview, Toni had openly expressed her deep respect and admiration for Oprah, so she never expected her to be as critical as she ended up being. "I couldn't believe it because I loved her so much. I admired her and looked up to her, and she pretty much reprimanded me," Toni recalled.
You ain't got Gucci flatware because you didn't want to buy it. It's not because you couldn't afford it. What do you mean? And immediately, she made me feel this big.
But it's not just women who felt the sting of Oprah's alleged vindictiveness. Let's talk about what she did to Michael Jackson in 1993. Michael welcomed her into Neverland for an exclusive interview, which helped boost Oprah's global fame. But after Michael's death, Oprah jumped on the Leaving Neverland bandwagon, siding with his accusers Wade Robson and James Safechuck, despite both men previously testifying under oath that Michael never harmed them. This move didn't go unnoticed. Monique publicly called Oprah out, accusing her of tarnishing Michael's legacy, a move that shocked many fans who remembered Oprah's earlier connection to him. After facing backlash for that special, Oprah defended herself, claiming she was just trying to shed light on the patterns of seduction that abusers used and tackle a larger issue in the entertainment industry. But her actions didn't stop there. In 2012, Oprah took things a step further by using one of Michael Jackson's grieving children for her own gain. She aired a tell-all interview with Jackson's daughter Paris on her own network, all while saying it was to help launch the young star's career. Fans of Michael Jackson were quick to call her out on this. They even penned a letter to Oprah, which read in part, "We can't help but notice the irony of the current situation. The man you spent the better part of the last decade bashing and stopping short of labeling a child molester is the very man's name and progeny you are now using to salvage your sinking network." The letter concluded by saying, "Having crowned yourself a child defender, we find it distasteful, disgraceful, and hypocritical that you are now using grieving children whose father you tried to sway a jury to send behind bars when it suits you. Few in the media have called out your shameful exploitation and hypocrisy, but we applaud the few who did." In an interesting turn of events, fans couldn't help but wonder why Oprah, following the controversy around Michael Jackson's legacy, remained silent on her friend Harvey Weinstein's victims. Despite the outcry, she didn't shed light on Weinstein's pattern of seduction. Fans observed a double standard and questioned why Oprah didn't take a similar stance for the women who spoke out against Weinstein. Following this, Monique took to social media to blast Oprah Winfrey with a lengthy open letter, accusing her of treating people who are accused of similar crimes differently based on their race. She wrote, "Dear Oprah, I felt compelled to write you this open letter after observing the disparity in the way that you seem to treat people who were accused of the same allegations. Despite all the drama and controversies, Oprah has somehow kept her public image afloat, using her power to dodge criticism and spin her missteps into wins. But now, Iyanla Vanzant's recent revelations might just be the beginning of the end for her." So, there you have it, folks. The tea has been spilled and it's scalding hot. Is this the beginning of the end for Oprah's reign as the Queen queen of media? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure. In the world of celebrity drama, the plot always thickens. Stay tuned, because something tells me this story is far from over. Until next time, this is Hot Gossip, dishing out the hottest gossip in town. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more juicy updates. Goodbye. Updates. Goodbye.